Welcome to another video. So we are going to keep learning solving quadratic equations. And now we are going to get into a little bit generalized form like ax squared plus bx plus c. In the last video, we learned how to solve the quadratic equation when it looks like ax squared plus c equals 0. And we also learned sometimes there's no solution or like two solutions or just one solution. Yeah, so now we have bx2. So yeah, let's get into it. So basically there's no new concept right for this. Maybe the non-factor law. Uh, yeah, you might be unfamiliar with this term, but this is actually like something that I've already mentioned in a video. I can't remember like when it was, but when a times b equals to 0, then it has to be either a equals 0 or b equals 0, or they both are 0. Yeah, this is basically the no factor law. And this is not a new concept, pretty straightforward. And once you know this one, that's how you kind of factorizing expressions lead you to solving the equation. Like let's say you kind of factorize an expression and you get this one, x minus 1 and x minus 2 equals to 0. Then now you know it should be x minus 1 equals to 0 or x minus 2 equals to 0. And this is basically x equals 1 and this is x equals 2. So that's how you find the values of x. So like x should be, 1 or 2. Yeah. So we are going to get into a few examples and see how it goes. So the first thing that you have to do is try to factorize this expression. So factorize, that basically means like find the pair of numbers that add up to -3 in this case, and then multiply to give -10. So yeah, think about pairs of numbers that can give to they can make -10, like factors. So basically like you can think of 1 and 10 and 2 and 5, and since this is a negative number here, so there should be negative should go either of them. So in this case I think the negative should go to 5, because in this case this pair of numbers can add up to -3 here. So I found the pair of number 2 and -5, and now you can just factorize this one. X plus 2 and x minus 5 equals 0, and then use the null factor law. So like x plus 2 equals 0 or x minus 5 equals 0, then basically means x equals -2 or 5. Yeah, that's it. This is how you solve quadratic equations. Yeah, just keep in mind we can use this method when the expression can be factorized. And yeah, this one, so like this example A, just we want the right hand side just to be empty. So we are going to change this expression, -10 equals 0, and then it's pretty much the same. Find the pair of numbers and add up to 9 and multiply to give -10. I think then it's like 10 and -1, 10 and -1. So like you factorize this one, x plus 10 and x minus 1 equals to 0. And then yeah, like pretty much the same using the null factor law. Then like this has to be 0 or this one. So like x equals -10 or 1. Yeah. C is a bit different. We've already covered this non-monic quadratic expressions because the number attached to x squared is not 1. So like it's called non-monic quadratic equations. So like in this case, we still find a pair of number, add up to 8 here, 8, but multiply to give not just 5 times 3, in this case 15. Then this pair of numbers is 3 and 5. And then now it's not over yet. We are gonna split this into 3 and 5, 3x plus 5x. And then we are gonna write this expression again in a different form. And then take out the common factor and do the same thing again. That's how you get 3x plus 5 and x plus 1 equals 0. And yeah, still using the non-factor law, this 0 or this is 0. So like x equals I think negative 5 over 3 or negative 1. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, this is how you solve the quadratic equation when the expression can be factorized. So like, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. If you know how to factorize, then it shouldn't be like that difficult. Yeah, I want to just briefly mention another thing here. We actually covered this one last time. And then the method we used was take the square root of both sides. So like, let's say like this one plus 4 equals 0. When you come across this kind of expressions, then you end up having a square number on the left hand side, while on the right hand side is a negative number. Then we can't do anything, like there's no solution. That's how we did. But actually this also, we can use factorization here as well, but not this time. Like we can't factorize this one, but we can factorize, what about this one? Minus 4 equals 0. So what we did in the last video was like x squared equals 4, and then we take the square root of both sides. But both 2 and minus 2 squared to 4. So like you want to find something the square to 9, to 4, then like you have like 2 and minus 2, and then that's how you get like x equals plus minus 2. Technically it was like plus minus square root 4, but yeah, this is basically the same as 2. Yeah, but have a look at this one. This is actually the difference of squares. We also learned this right before. A square minus b square, we can change this into like a plus b and a minus b. So think about this 4 is like 2 square. Then you can change this into like x plus 2 and x minus 2 equals 0. And if you use the null factor law, then obviously the answer is the same, plus minus 2, and then this is also x equals 2 or minus 2. Yeah, they both are like meaning the same thing. So yeah, this is kind of another way to solve these kind of equations. But like it depends. You can use whatever the method that makes more sense. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's it. Thanks for watching.